To our viewers, good afternoon, and I'm hoping everyone is well. My name is Mark, a proud member of the Rotary Club of One Magsaysay. I am humbled and honored to be your chosen moderator in today's session. Welcome to our second webinar series titled Tele-Cervical Screening in the New Normal. We conduct these webinar sessions as a preparation for the main event, happening this August 22, 2020, with a themed The Virtual Relay for Life promoted by the Philippine Cancer Society, and everyone is encouraged to join. Today, we will be joined by Dr. Bogs Rivera. He is a radiation oncologist or a cancer specialist and a proponent of CerviQ, which will be highlighted later in the presentation. He told me that his lecture will be quite long, but definitely very informative. So without further ado, may I formally introduce our today's lecturer, Dr. Jesus Randy Bogs Rivera. Please take it from here. I'll see you later. Good afternoon, Dr. Rivera. Do apologize, but I think we have a bit of a technical issue once again because of the audio problem. But I hope it will be fixed in just a bit.
Hello? Hello?
There you
There
go.
you go.
Doctor,
Okay.
we can hear you now much better.
So, okay. Anyway, it's like life, it's like cancer, they come in unexpected ways. And when they hit you, it's like, you're first in denial, then you're first, angry. And then later on, you just have to proceed with what life gives you. So like,
Right.
in behalf of CerviQ, in behalf of the Philippine Cancer Society and the Relay for Life project, I do apologize for all these technical difficulties, but as we all say, life goes on. Whether you cannot do what you are expected to do, then
Yeah.
still you have to proceed with what life gives you. So
Correct.
if I may ask the team, the Synergy team, to please prepare my slides so I can go with the presentation. So, okay, next slide, please. Okay, so definitely this presentation is quite long. It is divided into three parts. One is the information, so mainly what cervix is all about, what the causes is all about of cervix, of cervical cancer, the symptoms, the treatment, the prevention, no. And then the second part will be divided into people. How can you help as regular individuals, or probably if you're part of an organization like Rotary, like Inner Wheel Club, or any or non-civic organization at that. And then lastly, I'd like to hear from the audience, what do they think? How can they help? How would they want themselves to be aware of cervical cancer? So that's it. Next slide. Okay, this slide comes from the Department of Health, practically, and we can't see it. Please, next slide. Okay, so basically what it says here is that cervical cancer is the second most common cancer site in Filipino women. No, the new cases in every year. This is annual. Ibig sabihin, taon-taon, no? Kadalasan falls around 7,277 cases, no? The deaths are about 3,807, no? More or less annually, no? So, next slide. Okay, so when you try to compute that, though, when you try to compute 3,807, you divide that by 365 and 0.25, because 365 and 1/4 days in a year, no. So you practically somewhat get about 11 Filipino women dying each day from cervical cancer. Kakatakot ba? Well, please wait when I say next slide, please. Okay, please wait. Okay. Now, that's about 2 hours and 10 minutes each day. Sorry, that's about every 2 hours and 10 minutes may namamatay due to cervical cancer. Next slide. Now, this is quite alarming, no? I think this is not my slide. This should be, are you sure this is my, back, could you back a bit? One picture a bit? Yeah, kasi video pala yon. Anyway, next slide. Sige, next slide. Okay. This slide supposed to be show a picture of the Congress banquet by the AOFOG. AOFOG is the Asia Oceanic Federation of OBGYN in the whole Asia Pacific, no? So what is this? This is an organization mainly supported by the WHO, supported by the Philippine Obstetrics and Gynecology, supported by the Department of Health, and supported by CCAP, no? All these 5 institutions, they just signed a memorandum way back November of 2019, no? This was during the Philippine OBGYN Society Congress banquet, no? And what is that signing all about? Mainly one thing, that is to eliminate cervical cancer, and that to save women's lives. Next slide. That's the picture. So again, I do apologize because we're quite in a rush. So next slide, please. Okay, so let's go mainly to what is cervical cancer. So yeah, what is cervical cancer? Yeah. A teacher asked Pedro and says, Pedro, ma'am, ako, alam ko yan. Oh, cervical cancer, cancer of the cervix. Oh, madali, right? Yeah. But where's the cervix? Next slide. Now, when you put a speculum inside a vagina, like what is shown in the picture, the dulo, the endmost portion, no, or the end portion is the cervix. Actually, the cervix is part of the uterus, no. It's the lowermost portion of the uterus, no. So normally when you go to labor, no, that's the one that says, oh, 2 cm, 4 cm, 6 cm na po, uy, 10 cms na po, malapit na pong lumabas. That's the one that they measure, no. That's the cervix. Next slide. Okay, on anterior, when you're actually holding the speculum, that's the part that you see. In this case, medyo malaki yung butas, so most likely this is a multigravid na. So marami na, nakapag-anak na ng marami. Next slide. So what is the cause of practically cervical cancer, no? Okay, what is the cause? Next slide. The cause of cervical cancer is an infection. It's human papillomavirus. No, it's the only it's one it is causing about 91 to 93 depending upon the literature that you're trying to to read. No, it's somewhat 91 to 93 to 97, or some others say it's 99%. No, is the one that is causing cervical cancer. Now, there is a good point in this. No, the reason why we really focused on cervical cancer is mainly because cervical cancer has only majority one cause. So if you eliminate that cause, edi tama ba na prevent mo na ang cervical cancer? Unlike for example other types of cancer where there's genetics, there's environmental, there's smoking, there's a lot of things. You cannot eliminate all that. Cervical cancer is quite different. If you eliminate HPV, then 99% of cases, you eliminate everything. Next slide. So, but practically, what is HPV? No, it's like HIV. No, it's like COVID virus. Again, these are all virus. No, human papilloma virus is a group of more than 150, actually 200 pa nga sabi ng iba, according to some books. No, it is the most common sexually transmitted disease. No, and they are usually majority of cases. Lahat tayo mostly we will have this in our lives, but majority to say these are all harmless, no, and they can actually go away in itself, no. However, some of these cases they lead to warts, kulugo. Okay, kulugo. Some of them they go they present as genital warts. Warts naman doon sa are, no, doon sa area ng puwet, Okay, I don't want to expound. You get the point. Some of them they cause cancer. Next slide. Now, so mainly this is the low risk type. These are the kulugo na sinasabi ko, no? Itong kulugo na to, no, just for you to, alam ko nakakatakot ng itsura, no, but practically these do not cause cancer, no? These are the low risk. Kaya nga sila low risk kasi ano sila yan, low risk sila. Low risk, kaya low risk kasi hindi sila nag-come to cancer. Now, one of the examples are the HPV-6 and HPV-11. Okay? So, there are about 40 types of HPV that actually goes into the genital part. No? Next slide. Okay. And then out of the 40 no na pumupunta dun sa genital HPV, no, about 14 lang ang nakakapagpunta sa cervical cancer, no. So linisin ko lang. There are about 150 to 200 HPV types. Of the 150 to 200, about 40 nagko-concentrate sa genital area, no. So out of the 14 lang ang nagde-develop into cervical cancer. Now, here is the question, no? I have a wart in my hand. Okay? Am I a candidate to develop cervical cancer? Okay, next slide. Well, actually, the answer is so this is partly the answer, no. So there are 150 types of HPV, no, and that sabi ko nga sa'yo, out of that 150, majority of these are asymptomatic. When you say asymptomatic, they do not cause anything. You won't even see them. These are skin infections, but you don't see them, no. Some of them produces an effects meaning to say you can see them as palmar kulugo or palmar wart, no, or in other areas of the body, sa likod and everywhere. Now, 40 of them are genital infections, no, so concentrated yun sa area ng genitalia, and 14 are the ones that can cause cervical cancer. Now, as far as that the question is concerned, kung ang kulugo na yon is on the hand, so most likely it is not the type of HPV that can cause cervical cancer, no? So malamang hindi. Okay, next slide. Now, the types of HPV are classified based on the risk, no? Kung meron tayong low risk, kung mapapansin nyo, nakita nyo kanina, no? These are the type 6 and 11, no? They develop kulugo in the genital areas, but they rarely, some of them, they do progress to cancer, no? But some, more often than not, they rarely progress to cancer. Now, and ito, ang problem lang dito is pangit silang tingnan kasi, you know, when you have a genitalia and you have a wart, it's not good looking, but it rarely progresses to cancer. However, on the other hand naman, no, these are the high risk, no. The high risk naman, they do not cause anything. Wala, malinis, clear when you see everything, clear, no? They don't show any kind of lesion. However, these are the ones that are dangerous because they are the ones that cause abnormal cell changes, no? Or abnormal cell changes in the vagina, in the cervix, which later on, after persistent infection, proceed to cancer. Next slide. Okay, so these are just some of the types, no? Ang ano kasi, ang HPV kasi, they are not named after Juan, Pedro, named like us, no? They are named after numbers, no? So these are the very dangerous HPV types that you ought to remember, no? The high risk, no? So I think right now they are about 14. Some books says 15, some books says 12, no? Depending upon the edition and depending upon their own interpretation. Now, there are other subtypes, you know, probable high risk that may or may not, and then we have the low risk. Kita nyo ulit 6, 11, and then the rest, no, 40, 42, and everything. So I guess that's it. Thank you. Next slide. Okay. Of the high risk, no, high risk again. Remind ko lang kayo. High risk, these are the ones that progresses to cervical cancer. If you can see the chart, no, makikita mo type 16 and 18 yung may sungay, no? 16 is most predominant, that's about 55%, and 18 is about 16%, no? So and then the rest, makikita nyo, it's on the right side, no? You have 39, 33, 52, 58, you know, and the rest, you know. So I am just highlighting the type, and this is important when you develop a vaccine, no? Kasi when you try to come up with a vaccine, you don't just say, okay, I'll come up with a vaccine type 16 and it will eliminate everything. No, you have to come up with, you know, vaccines for each type. Now, later on, when I go to prevention, that will be discussed, no? Bakit si Cervarix o kaya si Gardasil? Bakit 16, 18 ang tinarget nila? Well, actually, it shows there, no? Because already 71% of cases are caused by type 16 and type 18. Okay, inom lang ako tubig. Okay, next slide. Now, this is just a, you know, some people can say, oh, come on, virus can cause a cancer? Really? Okay. Well, it does, no? So this is how it goes. So get infected, you don't know. Okay? Swerte mo if the cancer type or the HPV type doesn't, you know, is not of the high risk, no? However, when you go to the high risk, no, you go down to the lower arrow, no? In high risk infection, it says there, the virus can damage DNA, no? So what does that mean? When it damage DNA, and then this high risk kasi, ang problema nila, they don't just go away. They progress and they persist for long periods of time. Normally, 5, 10, 20 years. That continuous damaging to the DNA will now make the cells divide and grow out of control. And that dividing and going out of control, that's the one that will lead to cancer. Okay? So, ang point din dito is, when you get the infection, today, kunwari, 1980, you get the infection. You develop cervical cancer in year 2000, no? Hindi mo yun nakuha 5 years ago. Nakuha mo yun 10 years ago. So what is my point? My point is, ang haba nung time ng prevention, no? Ang haba nung pwede kang magpa-cervical screening. Sakit hindi ka nagpa-cervical screening? That's the point. Which again, I will try to inculcate later to you. Next slide. Okay, so it does not mean naman na ibig sabihin these are asymptomatic. Wala tong evidence, no? If you see the leftmost part, that's the picture of a cervix, normal cervix, no? When you have an infection, some of them, they look at it appears parang gano'n, no? It's on the second to the left, no? It's HPV infected cervix, no? Pag nag-progress, no? Sometimes parang ganyan, no? Hindi mo naman makikita yan, walang simptomas yan eh. So hindi ka magpapatingin. I guarantee you, hindi ka magpapatingin because walang simptomas yan. For you to do that, you have to do screening, no? Okay, now imagine 10 years hindi mo napapansin may ganyan ka. That later on progresses to precancerous. When you say precancerous, it doesn't necessarily mean na cancer yon. May pagkakataon ka pa, no? Parang ako, binigyan niyo ako ng pangalawang pagkakataon to speak to you because we have a technical, issue earlier. Anyway, so thank you, by the way. So precancerous, no? This is not yet cancer. You still have time, no? Okay, later on, but remember, during this time, wala ka pa ring simptomas. You feel fine. No, nothing. I tell you, no, nothing. No? Now, because you don't feel anything, you don't go to cervical cancer screening. You don't do that now. Okay, now, later on, that infection for about 5 or another few more years, that will be the ones to develop cancer. And by the time it grows bigger, then the presentation starts. So what is the presentation? Vaginal bleeding is the abnormal symptom. Normally prolonged, no? 3, 4, 5, 10 days, tinudugo ka pa rin. Akala regla, but it's not. Next slide. Okay. If you're thinking that if you're going to eliminate cervix, lalaki ka, cervix lang yan eh. So, pakialam ko sa misis ko. Okay, sure, fine, If you're not concerned with your wife, it's okay. We understand that. We get that, okay? But here's the thing that you need to know. Men, women, they're both affected by human papillomavirus, no? In the mouth, in the upper throat, okay? HPV is causing cancer there in 30% of all cases. Okay? Penile cancer, 50%. Okay? Vulva, 25%. Vaginal cancer, 80%. Cervix, here, 99%. No? Anal is about 88%. No? So what does it tell you? No? So if you're going to treat HPV, you're not just trying to take care of women. You're also trying to take care of the men. Next slide. So, how is HPV spread? No, it's practically skin-to-skin contact. No, during a sexual activity. No, when you say sexual activity, it doesn't necessarily mean it's just a sexual intercourse. It can include oral and anal sex. Okay, next slide. Okay. Ways that HPV cannot be spread. No? These are ways that hindi mo makukuha itong human papillomavirus. No? Hugging? No. COVID? Baka pwede pa. No? Holding hands? No. COVID? Pwede. Toilet seat? No. Swimming pool? No. Sorry, I can't read much. It's small kasi. Hot tubs? You can't, yeah, no. Sharing of food and sharing of utensils. No. These are things you cannot spread. You cannot get HPV into your system. No? Next slide. So, what is the treatment of HPV? Okay, I'm not asking you what is the treatment of cervical cancer. Those are two different things. What is the treatment of HPV? There is no treatment to the virus itself. Once the virus is there, even the vaccine will not work because you have already the virus. Point number one that you have to remember. One, majority of all these lesions, they go away. So you don't have a problem. No? But what you can treat is the effects of HPV. Now, what are the effects of HPV? Well, yung kulugo. Di ba? That's an effect, di ba? It's a lesion. Meron kang kulugo dito, pangit, no? So you can treat that. Pre-malignant lesion, no? Ito yung mga nakuha mo sa pap smear, no? Meron or via, no? Kita mo may lesion, you can treat that. You can do a lot of things, no? Cervical cancer. Well, yeah, you can treat. No, depende, no? Depende sa stage. Ano ba yan? Is it what is your intention? Is it curative ba or is it palliative ba, no? Palliative means to improve the quality of life. No? That's what palliative means. Next slide. Now, this is a epidemiological study, based from the I think the University of the Philippines. I really can't remember. This was the incidence of presentation of cervical cases at UPPGH, and this was done in 2009. No, look at the cases. Majority are what? Stage 3. No, majority ng pumupunta sa PGH na nakikita nila are malala. I'm sorry, stage 3. But yes, going along those lines, malala na, no? Look at stage 2, 25%, 1/4 of cases. So ano ang napapansin nyo, no? Bakit kakaunti ang stage 1? Actually, yung stage 1 na yan, there are two types of stage 1. Merong 1A, merong 1B1, merong 1B2. Kaya lang dumami yan is mainly because of more of 1B2. Kasi pag malaki na yung bukol mo, then they present as dinudugo ka, and then pupunta ka sa ospital, no? So basically, my point here is, majority of these cases, they go to the hospital because for several years ago, wala silang naramdaman, bigla silang dinudugo. Which is malala na. Next slide. Okay, see here. This is the staging of cervical cancer. No, there is that 5-year survival kang makikita. No, okay, next slide. Okay, look at this. This is stage 3. Let's focus on stage 3 muna. No, remember 50% of cases are at stage 3. No, stage 3 is defined as kumalat na sa pelvic sidewall, so fixed na yan. Hindi na, pag inai mo, hindi na gumagalaw yan. No? RVE mo, hindi na gumagalaw yan. No? Okay. Now, it can go down to the lowermost portion of the vagina or pataas. No? Now, look at these cases. Look at the 5-year survival. Anong chance mo po? Hindi ko tinatakot, no? This is based on literature. Dr. Fauci pa yan, no? Okay. Look at your chance of survival within 5 years. Ano ang porsyento na buhay ka pa after 5 years? Pag stage 3 ang na-diagnose ka. 35%. Do you like that? Siyempre hindi. Next slide. Stage 2. Okay? Medyo lesser ng konti, no? Confined sa cervix, pero sa paligid ng cervix confined. Now, ano ang chances mo ng buhay ka pa within the next 5 years? You have 65%. Well, maganda-ganda ng kaunti. Next slide. Now, kung yung bukol mo is just confined sa cervix, stage 1 yan. No? But then again, there is stage 1 kasi na maganda, na yung mga 1A, 1B, 1A1, 1A2, I'm sorry. And then you have the 1B1 and the 1B2. 1B2 medyo, yan, around 85%. No? Now, look at this. This is very important. No? Look at this. Next slide. Okay. Next slide. This is carcinoma in situ. What is carcinoma in situ? Ito yung precancerous lesions. No? Ito yung pagka nag-cervical screening ka, meron kang nakitang something, binayopsy mo, if ever man, yung bukol is nandun lang sa surface ng cervix mo. Look at the 5-year survival. 100%. Look at that. Papascreen ka o hindi? Anyway, I'll talk to that later on. Next slide. Now, I'd like to talk more on the cost, on the cost of, not only the cost, but on the treatment. No? Kung ikaw ay stage 1A or carcinoma in situ, or carcinoma in situ, madali yan, hindi yan. I mean, if you are stage 1, mostly you will spend, yan, 150 to 200,000 for a radical hysterectomy. No? Okay? Radhis, na tinatawag nila. No? Now, if you are stage 1B2 down to stage 3, you will need, yan, ako, Radiation, external at saka internal, chemotherapy. Because that's my field. Now, for chemo, dapat kasabay ng radiation. Yun ang ideal. Now, for chemo, you need 6 sessions. Normally yan, 6 sessions. I would say mga 10,000 yan per session. So, hindi kasama pagpunta, pa-hospital, medikasyon, or anything else. 60,000. Look at the cost. If you go to radiation centers, facilities, you need about 25 to 28 sessions of external radiation. Isang part lang ng radiation yan, may internal part pa, no? 70,000 pesos, no? Kasama na lahat, but hindi kasama yung pag-aantay, pagpupunta ng 28 days doon sa radiation facility, may libreng COVID pa kung sakasakali, wag naman po sana, sa sobrang pagtagal ng pag-aantay, Anyway, these are just, just to entice, just to make this presentation more appealing to you, make it more, yun. Next slide. And next slide. Oh, okay. There. Stop. I'm sorry. So that is brachytherapy, no? That's brachytherapy. Brachytherapy is normally we put the radiation inside of you, into the cervix and into the uterus, and those into the areas of the parametria. We target that. Now we place instruments and radiation goes in. So practically, it's about 30,000 each, no? Some they can even go as high as 45,000, no? So that's being done around 4 sessions, no? So estimate mga 120,000. Next slide. Okay, so the point is, okay, I get, mayaman ka, you get it, mayaman ka. You can afford all the costs that I've said, no? And then, but here's the point, no? 2 things. 1, kahit mayaman ka, but did your survival rate improved? No. Tao ka pa rin. Okay, sa mata ng cancer, you're also human. Either you're rich or you're poor. Okay? Second, ano ba naman yung pumunta ka, magpa-cervical screen ka? Bakit mo pa kailangan antayin na kahit mayaman ka, but you don't have that 5-year survival rate? There is loss of financial loss. There is family issues, economic issues as well, no? It's good if you have insurance, maybe if you have like Manulife, probably okay, no? Or the others, no? Again, I'm just trying to put out Manulife, no? Yeah, Manulife, yeah. You can, probably, but that survival part, no way. Next slide. Now, of course, we talked about treatment already. Now, how can you actually prevent it? Now, there are 2 ways you can actually prevent it, which you actually can help me with. No? One is vaccine. No? I'm presenting to you now 3 vaccines. No? We have the Cervarix, the Gardasil, and the Gardasil 9. Oh, you can always ask me, Doc, saan ba ang mas magandang vaccine dito? Oh, no. I mean, they're all good. Okay? It's just a matter of how they are targeting women, or how they are presenting their product. Okay, let's start with Cervarix. No? Next slide, I'm sorry. Now, Cervarix is targeting the most common. No? So the most common is type 16 and type 18. So Cervarix is targeting the most common. So these are just recommended for women. No? Because women lang ang merong type 16 at saka type 18 na nagkakos ng cancer, yung mga iba hindi, of different HPV types. No? Okay, next slide. Gardasil is the first in the market. No? They are also targeting type 16 and type 18, plus they are also targeting itong mga pangit na to. Sorry, itong genital infections na to. No? That's the that's the type 6 and the type 11. No? So again, they're trying to target that. So if you don't want to have that, then might as well go and get an injection of Gardasil. Next slide. Now, Gardasil 9 is the newest. No, it's about 6 years, 7 years, maybe. Again, I can't remember. No, they are targeting yung Gardasil na kanina, which is type 16 and 18, and then they're also targeting the 6 and 11, ito yung mga genital infection, but they are also targeting the 58, the 52, the 33, the 31, the 49, and the 39. Okay? So it has an expanded coverage of target. Now, here's my question to you. Sa tingin nyo, kung ako nakapagpa-inject ng Gardasil 9, sa tingin nyo, okay na ako? I mean, it's just a question. Tingin nyo, hindi na ako magkaka-cervical cancer. Meron na akong protection eh. Diba? Meron na akong tinarget ko na. Okay. Next slide. Ay, wala dito. Okay. Can you go ahead in advance muna just so I understand? Kasi I cannot see my presentation eh. So, okay, go back. Okay, go back. Okay, I'll try to answer that question later on. No? Okay, the best time to give an HPV vaccine is between age 11 and 12 years old. No, the current indication is of HPV vaccines are between the age of 9 down to 26. Kung ikaw ay 27, hindi ka na kailangan bigyan ng vaccine according to this. But then again, bakit? Well, maybe the reason why is, ang sabi nila, habang bata ka, mas mataas yung immune response to the vaccine. Remember, the vaccine works, they inject you with an attenuated virus, your immune system will come up with an antibody so that when you have that virus in your later life, when you're exposed to that virus, you have the soldiers actually to defend yourselves. No? So that's it. No? So kung sabi nila, kung may edad ka na lang ng konti, baka hindi ganun kalaki yung immune response. No? Now, there is an exemption to that. Next slide. Although this is very, very relatively new. No? Quite recently, I just can't remember the date. It should be here, there. October 5, 2018, the FDA in the US approves Gardasil 9 to include coverage of individuals between 27 to 45 years old. But, personally, the data is still not, well, personally, again, that's me. The data is still not that mature. So I'd still go for the 26. Next slide. Okay, question. Wala kang pera eh. You cannot afford to get 3 doses. Oh nga pala, I forgot to tell you. No, again, I'm sorry, I forgot. If you are 9 to about 14 years old, you need only 2 doses. No, if however you're 15 to 26 years old, you need 3 doses. Question: paano pag waka pera? COVID eh, wala trabaho, 'di ba? Wala ka pera. So, do you think single dose will benefit, single dose, one shot of HPV will benefit? In this trial, it actually addressed, sinasabi nila, there is some benefit. Well, according to this study, there were some benefit. Let's go to the conclusion of the study. Next slide. Okay, here's the conclusion. More than half of the decade after HPV vaccination with single dose, single lang, okay, against HPV 16 and 18 infection remained high, and HPV 16 and 18 antibodies remained stable. So, ibig mataas. So, okay naman. No? A single dose of bivalent is Cervarix or Gardasil. No? Hindi pala. Gardasil is quadrivalent kasi 4 eh. Bivalent is Cervarix. Bivalent HPV vaccine may induce sufficient durable protection that obviates the need for more doses. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Although this is just a study, no? Hindi ibig sabihin study pangangalandakan mo na sa buong mundo. Tama ito. No. This is just one study. In the doctor's life, kailangan maraming study, kailangan mo pang i-meta analysis yung buong study whether your actual question is valid or not. In this case, this is just 1 or 2 study. No? Another thing is that what they found out is that this is interesting. No, they injected HPV 16 and 18, and what they saw was They even had a cross protection. Naprotektahan din sila nagkaroon sila ng antibodies against HPV 31, 33, 45, 35, 58. What is my message to you? To everyone listening, here's my message. Kung wala kayo pera, I understand that. But then again, I am not recommending it. But then again, it's upon you. No? It's not from, what is it? If wala kang pera, ano ba naman yung magpa-inject ka ng isang 3,000? No? Kesa, wala. It's still going to protect you according to this study. And then this study pala, for you to be able to duplicate the study, if I'm not mistaken, the patients, the subjects here were practically injected about age 18 to 25. So kung age 18, 25, waka pera, dahil may COVID, waka trabaho, get the injection kahit isa lang. Again, I'm not trying to be, and then maybe later on you can boost if ever that is needed. No, these are again, but because I do understand what the Philippine economy is right now, and that's why I'm trying to help you out the best I can. Okay, next slide. Now, in anything that we do, mapa facial or whatever, there will always be an outcome and a bad come, or side effects. Okay, so any medicine improves you on that portion, they always have side effects. Okay, vaccine like HPV have side effects as well. They can be categorized into three. One is local, sa injection site. In-inject ka, masakit yun. Namumula yun, namumula yun, masakit pagka hinawakan, but 5 days time, mawawala. 2, general symptoms, lalagnatin, nagsusuka, diarrhea, nagkakaroon ng joint pain, but these are, and ang nakakatakot lang dyan is yung anaphylactic shock. No, if you have allergy on rubber gloves, plastic balloon, condom, baker's yeast, maybe better tell your doctor before you get these vaccines. And then again, I don't want to hide, there are cases also of severe and distressing symptoms with HPV vaccine. There were even some scare, in Japan, Colombia, European countries about people. They go into shock, they go into syncope, hinihimatay. But mostly, some of them are having paresthesia. You can search that over the internet. But according to the WHO, next slide. According to the WHO and the Global Advisory Committee for Vaccine Safety, these are the bodies that actually monitor the side effects of vaccine. According to them, everything is good. HPV has a global profile, and that mainly these people having these things are not attributed directly to the vaccine, but may be directly attributed to the general public, meaning to say it can happen to everyone with or without the vaccine. And that was the findings. And again, I'm just trying to bring this out to all of you. Next slide. Now, recently, Australia was on the news. This was in 2018, They are actually one country who are way far ahead from us. They are now on the portion that they are trying to eradicate cervical cancer, while we are just starting it, planning it, trying to think of ways how to. Let's look, how did they do it? Okay, how they do it? As early as year 2007, they already have an HPV vaccine national immunization program. So they gave free vaccines to all teenage girls, age 9, 11 to 12 to 14 years of age. In 2013, they even expanded this injection to cover boys. Because, like I told you earlier, boys have mouth, penile, they're also prone into that. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted with this phone. Anyway, so that's why, and mainly that's it. And mainly boys are middle men, carriers between women in some cases. No, I'm not saying all. No, and then in 2017, they actually also organized. They improved their cervical screening. Initially, it was just cytology, which is pap smear, and they improved that into HPV testing, DNA. No, parang COVID, no, DNA, yung, reverse transcriptase. No, so they improved. They improved on that. No, okay. So next slide. So one part of the prevention is practically cervical vaccination, no? HPV vaccine. If you try to eliminate HPV na high risk, then most likely you will not end up getting cervical cancer. Another, paano kung 26 years old ka na, hindi ka pwede magpa-vaccine, wala ka lamang pambiling Gardasil 9. Okay. Paano kung, remember, no? Ang Gardasil 9 only protects you from 7 of the 14. You can still get cancer from the 7 other remaining, di ba? Remaining types, no? So pwede ka pa rin magkaroon ng cervical cancer kasi hindi naman in-encompass ng Gardasil 9 lahat ng HPV na nagko-cause ng cervical cancer, no? Another thing is the data, no? The data is still missing, no? What do you mean data? Look at it this way. Ang mga vaccine po binigay na ano lang yan, na ilabas lang yan mga 2006, 2007. So from day of 2006 to 2007 to today, that's about 12 years. Probably they have a data na after 12 years, mataas pa rin yung protection mo. Mataas pa rin yung antibodies mo against HPV. How about 20 years? Do you have that data? Paano kung mag-i-inject ba ako ng 14-year-old ngayon? When this 14-year-old goes to 34 years old, are you sure protected ba siya? I don't know. We don't have that data yet at this point in time. So we are just assuming, well, baka. I don't know. Baka magkakaroon ng booster later on. That will be defined by the data. So kung ang sinasabi ko is cervical vaccine is not the holy grail in eliminating cervical cancer. No, it's not. It's not. It should be complemented with this one, cervical cancer screening. What is cervical cancer screening? Next slide. Oh, ito pala. So, do I still need cervical screening despite the vaccine? It says here, do I still need cervical screening despite the vaccine? No. You need cervical screening despite the vaccine. Why? Again, because of the coverage, no? Because Gardasil only eliminates 7, no? 6, 11, 16, 18, 31, 33, 45, 52, 58. Where there are right now 14 high-risk HPV causing cervical cancer. So, kulang pa rin. Pwede ka pa rin magkaroon ng cervical cancer doon sa 7 na hindi kino-cover ng Gardasil 9. Next slide. 2 is protection. That's what I meant. No? Yung data, no? Right now, Gardasil has only shown 10, 11, or 12 years. No? Cervarix has shown 9, 10, or 11 years of protection. No? Pero other than that, wala pa. And then lastly, age. If you're more than 26 years old, anong gagawin mo? You don't need to get vaccine anymore. Well, depends sa'yo if you want to. No, wala namang problema. No, because still can, wala naman masyado, no problem. But I think people more than 27 years old, you should attend to your cervical screening. No, next slide. Let me just pause for a while. Now, shown to you is a screening schedules of the Philippine Cancer Society. Philippine OBGYNS, no, the Philippine OBGYN Society. and the counterpart, which is the American Cancer Society. No, in the Philippines, the recommendation is two. If you do cytology or via, which I will discuss later in a while, you need to do annually. Annually meaning taon-taon. Kailangan nyo pong magpa-check up. Liquid-based, no, is another kind of cytology, nilalagay yun sa medium, and then doon baka pwede ka every 2 years. Pero in America, every 3 years. Ang cytology nila. Bakit? Well, mataas kasi yung burden of cervical cancer in the Philippines, unlike in the US. So, doon kakaunti lang, so okay lang. No? Here, mataas yung maraming HPV na, crossing everywhere. So, it's better na we have that annually. Next slide. Okay, here it is. No, so we have three types of cervical cancer screening. No, we have the cytology. Ito yung cells na sinisilip sa microscope. HPV DNA. This is basically trying to determine kung meron kang kung anong type of HPV meron ka. And then VIA, which is visual inspection with acetic acid. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is actually a video which I don't know how we can show this to you. No, this is supposed to be you have to click that, and there's an animation how cervical cancer how pap smear is being done, no? So to your right are the speculum. Ito yung pinapasok doon, ito yung nagkukuha ng specimen. Kasi sa pap smear kasi, ang ginagawa nila, they get the specimen, no? They put it in a slide, and then i-refer mo yan sa pathologist to read, no? Okay. Next slide. So yan yun, no? So if you put it on a slide, yung uppermost portion ng picture, that is what you call as conventional cytology, no? Sa baba is liquid-based cytology. Ang ginamit is yung liquid. Liquid naman ang ginamit niya, no? So that's it, no? Anong pinagkaiba? The thing is, they said, yung liquid-based daw is more accurate, no? It's more they preserve the cells more. You can identify abnormal cells with that technology than that, no? And then all of this, they go to the laboratory. And then they do microscopy, no, which is a job of the pathologist, no. So yon. So dito dalawa ang doktor, no. And then HPV DNA testing naman is practically the same. No? The same in a sense that same pa rin yung pag-collect. Instead of doing the microscopy, you will need to test yung DNA. Parang yung COVID, no. Swab test, no. You get specimen, put it in there, and then they check what if that's positive for coronavirus or not. No. Again, these two types of cervical screening requires two visits. Isang punta for the examination at isang punta again for the result and the mga payo. Okay, next slide. And this supposed to be an animation, but because we're using now a different platform, we're not using the platform earlier, no. So it's very hard for me to kind of let you see what the video is all about. But this is practically VIA, no. So I'm just going to demonstrate this to you, no. So VIA is practically the same as Pap smear. No? The only difference is in Pap smear you actually scrape the cells. Okay, get the specimen. View it in a microscope. In VIA, it's different. No, VIA is you get 5% acetic acid. No, what is acetic acid? No? In English ko pa talaga, acetic or acetic. No, suka. Okay, no, but not all suka. No, please don't use pinakurat in a cervix. Please. No, kawawa. No, there are specific types of suka that you can only use, no? So basically you get suka, pahid mo dun sa area ng cervix, no, for about a minute. Babad mo muna, no, and then when you remove the cotton or the pledget or the gauze, no, you'll try to observe for changes. Kung yon meron na muti-muti, you call that via positive. Kung yun medyo mga parang mamaya I'll show you, no, suspicious for malignancy. Why don't I just do that? Next slide, please. Now, some people say, really? Hindi ba dapat ang pag-discover ng pre-carcinoma is through microscope? Pwede na ba ngayon, lagyan mo lang ng suka, makikita mo na? Well, yeah, that's true. And that's an acceptable fact, no? In fact, I have put it here, no, but it's kind of late now. There's even that PGH study, no, which I would like to quote. Kaapelido ko kasi Rivera din, no? But no relation, no? She did a study on pap smear, okay, liquid-based cytology, and VIA. Would you believe VIA found to be more sensitive and more specific ata? But sensitive, that I agree. And they even concluded VIA is practically good. You know, I also would like to ask you this, no? Tell you this, no? Philippine Cancer Society, no? I'm which I am, you know, quite a part of, no? Sort of, you know. Now, they also did a study, similar study way back. I don't know, I can't remember. Way back then, where in fact they resulted comparable, no? Comparable VIA, comparable HPV. So don't feel na as if pag nag-VIA ka parang inferior to cytology. It's not. Okay? Don't look at it that way. It's not. Pero ang tanong doon is, bakit? Bakit? Lagyan mo na ng suka, makikita mo na kung may pathology or what. Next slide. Now, here's the rationale, no? Normal cervical tissue remains unaffected by the application of acetic acid. Kung meron kang kung normal yung cervix mo at walang gasgas or walang or whatever, walang precancerous yan, walang damage or everything, no? It will not get affected. In contrast, when you have a damaged tissue, no, a damaged cervix, no, when you place suka, mamumuti. It turns to aceto-white. Now look at please try to look at the images, no? VIA negative means normal, happy, negative. VIA positive, wait, teka, you might need treatment. But if you get treatment at this stage, 100% kang survival. Okay? Now, kita mo on the right side is the suspicious for cancer. No? Hindi yan wart, that's already suspicious for cancer. No? So hindi naman ibig sabihin ganyan ang itsura automatically cancer. You still need to do a biopsy, no? Meron kasi merong similarity din yan, eh. May mga similarity diyan na cervical cyst, no? Mga similarity, no? I'm not saying you know, ganun, no? So you still need to do a biopsy and then you stage the patient, no? And then you treat for cervical cancer. Magaling na kayo because I've mentioned to you already how the treatment of cervical cancer goes. Next slide. Okay, I just like to show you. This is a image taken from our app. No, we have this mobile cervix app which takes pictures. This is what you call pala is digital cervicography. No. Okay, this is digital cervicography. Ang ibig sabihin nito is pagkalagay mo ng suka, pipicturan mo. Oh, I'm sorry, erase. Pagkalagay mo ng speculum, pipicturan mo yung cervix. Not the vagina, cervix. Okay? I know this is a private part ng babae, but look, is it ano ba? Is it enticing ba? I don't think so. Okay? Now, itong picture na to is different, no? I mean, I'm sorry. Yung pagkasunod-sunod ng picture nito is quite different. Synergate, can you please forward one slide? Forward mo ng isa. Yan. That is the no. Stop. That is the picture upon placement of speculum. That was the picture we took upon placement of the speculum. When you see it, personally, seems like normal, right? Now, Ron, balik mo. Back. Okay. Ito yung nilinis na namin, no? Kumuha kami ng spec ng pledget, we dip it in a NSS, normal saline solution or salt solution. Linis, 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 and that's the picture. Two pictures forward, please. Okay. After the placement of suka, that's what we see. And what is that? That's already suspicious for malignancy. Okay? So, yon. Next slide. Can we just take a break? We just take a break. I'll just go in restroom. Thank you. I can't hear you. Can we take Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. So, hi again, everyone. Are you still there? I hope you're okay. If you have any more, if you have questions, please, no, on Facebook. I think they have sort of a box, that where you can actually type your questions, and then the team can actually see it, and we hope and try to answer your questions. So, I just like to come up with a short recap, no, just before we actually proceed with the second portion, which is practically how are we going to help. No? Okay, so one, we all know that cervical cancer is preventable, and that prevention is a lot better than cure. We all know that an ounce of prevention is better than cure. Yes, we all know that by preventing it, you won't you would still be alive 5 years after, no? Rather than getting stage 3 when your lifespan has shrunk to about 35%. No? And that what else do we know? That prevention is better in a sense that you can get the prevention by having the vaccine. If you don't have the money, you can just get probably one vaccine, and that the vaccine is being given to teen 9 to 26 years old. What else do we know? And that the vaccine is not the holy grail. It must always be complemented with cervical cancer screening. Now, mind you, we all know so many things. But in spite of all this, next slide, we're still down with 11 Filipinos, women, dying due to cervical cancer today. Okay? In spite of what we know, in spite of what we can do to prevent it, that is still the number. The more it's going to increase that number because of COVID, because of there is a decrease in making screening diagnose it. There is a decrease in cervical screening during this time of years, this time, okay, of pandemic. Now, what can be the cause? Let's look first. Why don't we look at the problems and then let's find solution to that problem? Shall we? Okay, next slide. Okay, the first problem is could be. Again, I'm no political missionary here, or these are just my points of view. But you can always object. We don't have a national HPV immunization program like Australia. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's one problem. But even before you point out, even before you point that to our government, remember, whenever you point out, four fingers point back at you. So don't. Point is, what can you do to help? Don't let government help you. What can you do to help? Okay, next slide. Can look at the government's perspective. Now, again, I'm no politician. Can actually the government provide us with these vaccines? Remember, okay, let's assume there is an estimated 30.9 million Filipino men and women aged 10 to 24 years old that are candidates to receive vaccines. Okay? The standard is giving 3 vaccines and assuming, there are 3,000 pesos per vaccine. So, magkano yun? That's about 9,000, right? 9,000 pesos per patient multiplied to the 30.9 million. That's 278 billion. Can government actually afford that? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. This is my answer. Next slide. But, do we even stop there? Diba? I think, there are so many ways we can do this, It starts with you. It starts with your family, It starts with your kapitbahay. It starts with you. You telling people how to, what cervical cancer is. You can be an influencer by actually sharing our videos, putting there, or you can even join us, Relay for Life. You can be part of Relay for Life. We can help you. We can educate you. We can let you know what you can do to become a cancer warrior. Who knows, by you becoming an influencer, you can come up with your own community of cancer warriors, Now, for leaders, people like my classmates in Rotary, I mean, the clubs can actually, if you want to do this, you can come up with contest, Because what is the point? The point is, a lot of people are watching when it's video. No one is no longer watching, reading, much. It's more of visual, either pictures or video. Video are better. So you can come up with your own club as a video contest, for an awareness on probably cervical cancer or any cancer you would want. Probably you can help us build this. Awareness is one of the key. So before you point out to anybody, let's start doing it ourselves. Next slide. Now, another factor, that can be done, maybe, again, I'm not saying 100%, maybe, was two articles, which I found way back 2001, but it still is what it is today. Next slide. Failure on cervical screening. Next slide. So in 2001, 2002, there was this World Health Organization health survey. They surveyed the whole Philippines, Filipino women aged 18 to 69 years of age. They looked at these people. How many of them had cervical screening? 8%. Imagine that. Out of the 22 million Filipinos, there were only about 1.7 million that said, I had screening this year, last year. Okay, baliktarin natin. Kayo, can I see a raise of hands? How many of you did cervical screening? Mark, have you your cervical screening? No, no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking, Mark. I know, I'm just pulling a joke. Of course, this is for women, no? So, try to. I know it's hard today, COVID, but soon after, maybe. Next slide. Now, there are, this is another study, coming from the University of the Philippines Department of Health Cervical Cancer Study Group. I think Director Rom Marcaida was part of this because he tells me he was part of the study. He was one of the study researchers on this that identified the causes of screening failures. So, what are the failures? Bakit ba walang nagpapascreen? No? Okay. One is lack of awareness. Ayan na naman, lack of awareness, no? Okay. Two, ang general consensus ng mga tao daw is ang cervical cancer screening hindi daw curable. Do you agree? It is curable actually. Pero look at it this way. Yung mga hindi nagpa-screen, by the time they went to the hospital, they are already stage 3, stage 4 advanced. Curable pa ba o hindi? Hindi na. Because they did not undergo cervical screening. But kung ma-change nyo yung mentality ng tao, you tell them, it is curable. Remember, okay? I tell you, I'm going to rephrase that again. No? Remember, if you have nagpa-cervical cancer screening ka, nahuli kita, cancer in situ ka, or early stage, you have what? 100% chance of survival. Imagine that. Diba? 100% chance of survival. Okay? So, no? What is 5 minutes, 10 minutes of your time? Rather than a lifetime of financial loss, family loss, regret, Kaya yung mga Manulife na yan, at saka yung AXA na yan, at saka yung ProLife, they can help you out, when you have these types of cases, I'm sorry. Okay. Next slide. Next is lack of follow-up, Okay. The thing is, totoo naman what is, sige nga kayo, tuwing kailan gagawin ang cervical cancer screening? Magaling. So every year. Okay, that's good. Well, kasi kakasabi ko lang kanina. Pero have I said that a year ago, then you might tend to forget. But mainly, of course, we understand, we are so busy, and it's a normal process, that we tend to forget for people who have Alzheimer's. No. It's normal. I'm not saying you have Alzheimer's. I'm just joking. Okay. And then lastly, the lack of screening facilities, which is this is interesting. This is really interesting. Lack of screening facilities and expertise of doctors. Can you just put one slide ahead, because I don't know what the slide is next. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Next slide, please. Sige, na-touch na natin yan, sayang. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, that's good. Thank you so much. Now, lastly, lack of screening facilities and expertise. Now, I don't know if you know this. Imagine yung dami, yung dami ng women na up for screening taon-taon. There are about 22 million of them. Okay? 22 million women needs to be screened every year. That's age between 21 to 65 years of age. Okay? So they need screening. And we have what? We have only kakapiranggot na OBGYNs who can do that. We're having something like 6,000. If you divide 22 million to 6,000, what will you get? You will get something like one OB needs to perform 10 cervical screenings each day, 365 days in a year. Wala na silang Pasko, wala na silang bagong taon, wala na silang November 1, wala na silang birthday, kasi they have to screen 10 people. So what is that? Can we increase the number of doctors to that? I don't think so. So that's another point that we have to consider also. No? And there's another thing that I would like to, because it touched on facilities. Okay? Another point that I'm trying to drive at is location. If you go to the rural areas, there are so many facilities, but there's no doctors. So how do you think they can do cervical cancer screening there? So again, it's different. It's quite difficult. But then again, government naman has done its part. They trained midwives. The midwife trained further midwives in replacement of doctors. But then again, the question na nakasulat dyan, expertise doctors. I'm sure you would agree to me. Na you don't need midwives. You would need, or you would prefer doctors. Diba? To do the screening sa iyo, hindi midwife. Tama? I think you would still agree. But kulang nga eh. But what can we do? Is there a solution to that? No? Is there a solution to this problem? No? And then, look at it this way. Yung midwife, binasa ng midwife. Ito, very, very interesting to. Well, to me, I don't know to you. No? Midwife, binasa niya. Naging via positive. So, pag via positive, hindi naman gagamitin ng midwife yun eh. Diba? Isa niyang anong gagawin niya? Ipapadala niya sa doktor. Okay? Pag pinadala niya sa doktor, anong gagawin ng doktor? Di ba i-screen niya ulit? Because, well, I'm sorry, but apparently, they will do that. And when they do that, hindi ba cost na naman yun? Di ba? Again, so those are just my issues, no? So, bundol-bundol yung issues natin pagdating sa number, this section, lack of screening facilities and expertise of doctors. Now, how can we, as individuals, as civic leaders, help? How can we, as, common tao, help with this problem? Or are we just saying, we give up? Now, I'd like to show you this video. Synergate, if you're actually ready, please play this video. Because this might be the solution.
Cervical cancer is a preventable disease. Yet, in the Philippines, 11 Filipino women die of this disease each day. Prevention can be achieved through immunization and cervical cancer screening. But, with the onset of the COVID pandemic, outpatient services including cervical screening has ceased for months. And return to normalcy is unclear, which may take months to years. What if, in spite of the times, you can still do cervical screening safely and remotely? Introducing CerviQ. CerviQ is a mobile app that allows you to conduct tele-cervical cancer screening using visual inspection with acetic acid combined with digital cervicography. By downloading our app, your clinic secretary can conduct the screening, take photo of the cervix, and send them to you privately for interpretation wherever you are. The app is packed with exhilarating features. It has a secure electronic medical record that enables you to access your patients quickly and effect efficient care. You and your patients shall be notified automatically of next visits or next cancer screening through SMS. The CerviQ app allows you to print results of screening reads, allows electronic prescriptions, if and when deemed necessary. You can refer your cases to subspecialists, doctor fellows in gynecologic oncology, cervical pathology, and colposcopy, and infectious diseases. And if you slow down from medical practice, you can still get paid doing cervical reads. Furthermore, you can dictate the professional fee you like. Join us today and book for a virtual demo, so we can answer all your queries about the app. Go to endcervicalcancerph.com.
Okay, so basically, what is CerviQ? You've seen the video, so there are just some things that I would like to to correct. In the video, kasi it highlights that CerviQ is an app. Actually, just between you and me, it's not. It's a solution. It's a solution that can address the growing need for cervical cancer prevention despite these times. No? Next slide. Next slide. Oh, there is a solution. Sorry. Next slide. If you're a midwife or a nurse, living in a far, far away land, remote community, without doctors, you can actually set up your own clinic using CerviQ. Health centers across the whole country, you can actually utilize your health centers, by performing cervical screening by schedule. You don't need to build infrastructure, you don't need to do the cost, What do you need? CerviQ. Okay? Now, lying-ins, hospital, you can streamline your patients, You can put them in one schedule, all streamlined, and CerviQ will automatically refer them to their respective doctors, What do you need? CerviQ. Safe pa yung mga doktor. Kasi yung mga doktor, nandun lang sa bahay, binabasa nila yung digital cervicography na pinapadala ninyo. They can interpret, and when they interpret, they can send back the results. Yung midwife gets the printed copy, gets the electronic prescription. Doktor, bahay lang. Still, you can provide cervical cancer screening. Okay? Now, next slide. CerviQ is not a solution. It's a system. It's a system where we actually train midwives and nurses to online. We can do that. I think Mark can actually train them with the guidance of the Philippine Cancer Society. We train doctors on how to use the app, how to do medical prescription, electronic prescription. I'm sorry. We can teach them how much money have they earned by doing cervical reads. Okay? So it's a system, Next slide. Oh, it's not a system. No, it's not pala a system. It's a network. It's a network. Because the data that we gather, we share it to the Department of Health. The data that we gather, we share it to the Philippine Cancer Society to build and improve our cancer registry in the Philippines. Not only that, CerviQ plans also to hold a Relay for Life this November. The money that will goes directly to PCS, Philippine Cancer Society, and that Philippine Cancer Society, will fund free cervical cancer elsewhere, using CerviQ again. Now, aside from this, next slide. You're right. Aside. Hindi ko kasi kita sorry. Aside from this, CerviQ also has its own SMS network. We notify patients sa cellphone nila of their next screening. So you don't have to have Alzheimer's ka, you will get the text. And then lastly, here's the big difference. In VIA, pag ginawa ng midwife yan, sila lang ang nakakita. In VIA, pag yung doktor ang gumawa, siya lang ang nakakita. What if you want to retrieve or do a second opinion of your study? How can you do that? In CerviQ, it's easy. You can you can get it, you can retrieve it, you can put it for a comparative study for a cervical screening later on that year. Remember when you go to x-rays, doctors, patingin nga po ng x-ray nyo dati. Ikukumpara natin sa x-ray nyo ngayon, di ba? With VIA, you cannot do that. You can only do that using VIA, CerviQ, and VIA. Okay? So, next slide. Overall, what do you think CerviQ? Well, CerviQ, I tell you, between you and me, CerviQ is just a mobile app. Between you and me, I tell you, CerviQ is just a mobile app. Between you and me, what CerviQ needs to become big is, next slide. What we need are people like you. It is you who will make CerviQ a solution, a system, a network. Thank you. Salamat.
So there you have it. So we spent more than an hour discussing the new innovations in the healthcare landscape. So thank you, Dr. Boggs, for sharing those insights. And thank you also. You're one of the notable figures and very brave frontliner from the healthcare industry, and I'd like to extend my appreciation to your noble duty. So many thanks again. I'll give you a round of applause to our viewers there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
So
you.
yeah, so he shares, or you actually shares various aspects of cervical cancer screening, telehealth, and how the medical industry can move forward amidst the pandemic. So I hope everyone who's watching us now, thank you very much for your patience, first of all, and thank for staying tuned. So yeah, CerviQ emphasized that the immediate healthcare need is access to all services, whether it be a cervical cancer screening using a digital platform, EMR, or electronic medical reporting, or on-demand consultation. Also, I think Dr. Rivera presentation gave points that the need for the digital consultation or can be is it like a cashless payment? Did you
Well,
how how the process of payment goes?
actually, ganito, no. Number one, we have to remember that there are a lot of people who who went supporting me on this, no. There are my classmates, no, my classmates, inspiring presidents in Rotary who actually gave money, creating the idea, no, which started in December, no, and I'm very touched, with all of these people because they are the ones who's really motivating me, so to actually do this. I'm sorry.
Okay, I understand of the
Yeah,
emotion
yeah,
there, Dr.
yeah,
Bugs. Now, so yeah, in this trying times, access to medical care is a risky business, but innovations and technology, and businesses aim to connect patients to doctors and other medical practitioners in much safer manner. So I think, Dr. Rivera, you share how CERVIC will transform ways this will help the Philippine healthcare, or cervical cancer patients to continue innovate in service of the Filipino patients,
yeah.
customers, and the community. So there you go, everyone. Now let's see if we can get, or if we can answer some viewer questions, because most of the questions that I actually thinking right now is like, how do I receive treatment without going to the hospital? I'm afraid of COVID as well, and
Yeah.
how do I have a medical checkup without even meeting a doctor? So yeah, do we have like a comment? I encourage everyone to please leave a comments here, and let's try to consume the hour to answer those concerns. So I think, and also, Dr. Boggs, I'd like to give a heads up, like, to our viewers, Mr. Monina Kaligasan. Is there any questions that you would like to relay to us? And Rowena Ripol, hi, good afternoon, and thank you for watching. Sir Joseph Uiching, good afternoon, sir. Thank you for watching. So do we have like questions? Miss Annalisa Tindoy, I thank you for watching. So I think, Sir Bugs, so you mentioned that patients confidentiality,
Yeah,
because people would the assessor check the patient. They could take photos, no. So
yeah.
how the process secured ba ito, saan napupunta yung data actually?
Okay, sige. Let me answer that. That's a very, very valid question, no? So we have already put in measures, no, of data of how we can protect data privacy, no. One, if I was the midwife who entered your name, I will be the only one who can actually view your name. No, we will not take photo of your face or anything. No, we will only take photo of your picture of the cervix. No, the doctor, when the doctor receives it, it's just the cervix and it's just a patient number. So there are no data whatsoever. Now, here's the question. Oftentimes, when you have a VIP patient, you take photo of the cervix, and then the data does not go into the phone itself. It goes automatically into the cloud. No? Kasi when the phone, when the phone gets lost, what happens? Nandun yung pangalan, nandun yung itsura. No?
Right.
So pag nandoon, although meron namang protection barrier, no, meron namang password and everything, no. But the thing is, hindi mo na makikita doon yung picture, no. You can only retrieve it if you are the specific person. Kung user ka ba, ikaw ba ang, di ba? No? Dapat yung patient has always a say, no? To whom do I share this to? To whom do I share this to? Parang ganon. It's not just the midwife or the doctors, it's also the patient, no. They have to be amenable by a click, there's a process kasi, no. Now, when you lost the phone, all you have to do is to call a hotline. Whatever I'm saying now is not yet built, no. I mean, what I'm saying now is built already, but have we played it out right now? Not yet, because it's COVID. No, we're having a hard time playing it out, pushing it now into the market because it's COVID. Now, ito ba may bayad ba to lahat? Hindi, no? Like I said, we have two counterparts, no? One, in November we're partnering now with the Philippine Cancer Society. We're getting sponsors, no, to fund the cervical screening. Is 50 pesos big enough for everyone? Diba? For a screening?
Very
See? How much is a pap smear? A pap smear costs about 800 to about 2,000 pesos.
Mhm.
It's just a Philippine Cancer Society and CerviQ future partnership. But if it's out in the market, if you're a private doctor, if you're a doctor and you want to refer it to another doctor, then the charge is not that. Now, another thing is, what are we trying to do? We're trying to employ midwives, nurses, diba? Sabi ko nga, if you have internet dun sa area ninyo, you remotely, walang doktor, I give you training, I give you everything. You do it. We have others doctors naman on this side who will read it. Now, mag-usap kayo ng doktor, no? Remember, yung midwife na yon, nakikita niya yung doktor, hindi naman purpersahan yun eh. Makikita niya yung doktor, may presyo yung doktor. Itong doktor na to libre, itong doktor na to 50 pesos, itong doktor na to ganito. But don't look at the cost, no? Look at also at the specialty, Siyempre, ano yan eh, mukhang cancer, identify mo sa onco. I think ganon, again, it's not. Siyempre yung onco, OB yan, no? Nag-fellow
Right.
yan. Nagdagdag pa ng 3 taon yan to become an SGOP. My God, give them credit, diba? Give them something that they would like to earn. They give their own expertise kahit nasa bahay lang sila, diba? How many hours are you spending in traffic during unong walang COVID, diba? Ito, we brought this to you. So lower cost, no? Kami, just get a lower cost. Why do we need to earn? We're not actually earning. What you're paying is, kayo sir, you are part of AWS, you're part of how much cost thousands of dollars is storage for a cloud, a secure cloud, okay?
Secure, yeah.
A secure
Thousands,
cloud. I'm not talking about a
thousands of
cloud
dollars.
phone, di ba? You know how much thousands of dollars
Yes,
we
yes.
spend just to get this through, no? So we have to pay our base then kahit paano. You have
Yeah,
maintenance, you have and for 50 pesos, my God, but that's for really for life.
right, right.
Okay?
I understand. I understand. So this solution, this application, or this is network, is not just a solution for screening for cancer, but also it promotes for job for people, no, um,
Yes,
di
for
ba?
doctors, for
For all the
it's
midwives,
for midwife. Yes, yes, yes.
especially na sa karamihan ng situation natin ngayon, 'di ba? This is a good opportunity. So let's, Sir Dr. Boggs, let's give attention to this questions from our viewers. So from Rosanna Uiching. So I don't know if she's pertaining to this to the cervical screening, no. But I want my daughter to have this vaccine. Can we get it from the pediatrician?
Yes, 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 yes. My answer is yes. Ako, I'm happy, no. Again, I know Rosanna. Thank you so much for watching my show. I'm sorry, not my show, but my presentation. No, you know what I'm happy about? It's because when your daughters gets vaccine, you don't get cervical cancer, and you know how what I feel. I've saved a life. That's how I feel, and that's how each Filipino should feel. Na look at it this way, okay, my answer to you, Rosanna, is yes, you can get it through them, my or you can get it elsewhere, through an OB, or I can even help you out, but best is for a pediatrician because they're also ahead of this. But the OBs are more ahead of this because they've already signed a compact with WHO, Department of Health, POGS, the whole OBGYs in the whole Philippines, Oceanic Federation of all OBGYNs, CCAP, Cervical Cancer Network Philippines, uh, I think they're more ahead, no? They're more into this. Pedia, I don't know. I have friends with Pedia. Delbert, I hope you're watching, no? I don't know. Maybe perhaps you can help me out, but it would be better. I think you can ask the pedia, pero pag hindi, you can ask the OB. If hindi, you can go back to me. Now, here is just one of the message that I also would want to, to outlay. If we are just promoting awareness, think of it this way. Ewan ko kung tama ito, Mark, or to anybody, Kung ako, nagsasalita ako about cervical cancer awareness through vaccination and screening. Okay? Now, itong mga apat na tao na close sa akin, nakapagpa-screen, and it so happened, that they were found to have VIA positive, or they so happened they have carcinoma inside too, or they so happened they had early treat early stage of disease. What is the survival for an early stage of disease, Mark? 100%. Now, hindi ka ba hero nung tao na to? You don't need to be Jose Rizal. You don't need to be,
Yeah.
you don't need to be gunned in Bagong Bayan. No, you don't need to be like Andres Bonifacio to raise your sundang, to become a hero of any person,
Right, right,
like us, come join us. Relay for Life, Philippine Cancer Society, I'm not asking come join me. No. Come join us. Be a cancer warrior. Because for every people, I've always also point you out, bakit cervix? No? Look at it this way again. Cervix, isa lang kalaban mo, HPV. Breast, sige nga, dami. Genetics, how can you prevent genetics? Come on, tell me. You cannot prevent genetics. Diba? You can prevent kung magkaroon ka, but still you're going to have it. Diba? So I'm just changing your mindset. Just try and change your mindset. With cervical cancer, you are a hero in your story. No, so that's why I'm trying to encourage every people out there, no? Every leader out there, every organization out there, become a warrior, become a hero to some women out there in your community. You don't have to drag me, don't even have to drag my name, but I will teach you. Again, we're a system when we help you. But if you don't want to be helped, we're just a mobile app. Remember that. And that is the main point.
Right, right, right.
We're a lot of things in so many different places, but we're just a mobile app if we don't have people like you.
Okay. So, thank you for that good and very informative explanation, Dr. Rivera. So, our next question will be from Hazel Reyes Yap. So, she said, what is the earlier age of your patient which had cervical cancer?
Okay. The earliest was, I think, something like 29. As far as my experience is concerned, no? I had a patient who had 29 cancer. No? Normally, you don't expect them to get as early as 20. Okay, bakit? No, there's always a reason why. No, bakit? They had first, they either had anal, oral, sexual intercourse,
Mm-hmm.
14 years old. It develops into 6 years, 10 years. So by the time you get it 24, I think you can still get it around 25 pataas. Pero so far in my experience as a radiation oncologist, the earliest as I got is 29. And here is the bad thing. If you get cervical cancer at a younger stage, pangit. Bakit? Imagine when your immunity is so high, you get a cancer. Mabilis, no? Mabilis. I'll tell you no. If I were a if I were a if I were to choose, bet, no, ₱1,000,000 on a patient with 29 years old, on a patient with 52 years old with cervical cancer. I'd put my bet on the 52 years old. Chances of survival nun mas mataas. Bata, pangit.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you cannot say your kids, wag kang magganito, wag kang mag-sexual, wag kang whatsoever. When there's a family problem, umalis yan sa bahay mo, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you, Hazel, for the question. Appreciate it much.
Okay. So another question for I don't know if we have to answer everyone, no? But we're looking into G spot. How PCs will help CerviQ?
How does
Or
PCS
how
will help?
PCS will help the CerviQ?
Well, right now, kasi the Philippine Cancer Society's one goal also is doing cervical screening. They have this mobile clinic, wherein they go to one places or another, and then they do the cervical scanning screening. Sorry. Now, in fact, we've also done that with Barangay Holy Spirit way back in February 14. No, it was a Valentine's Day where we gave them the whole barangay free cervical cancer screening, and that was PCS and kami. Now, hindi naman lahat maaabot ng bus. Tama? If you have a bus, if you have a mobile bus, even you have 10, again, I'm not trying to become a hero here, no? If you have 10 bus, no? If you have 10 buses, do you think they can roam around Metro Manila? And what is your cost? That is just my point. Again, I'm just trying. I think the best way is a combination, no? A combination of what, no? Kami naman, pwede mo kaming scrutinize, no? Sabihin niyo, kayo, screening lang kayo eh. 'Di ba? O pagkatapos ng ini-screen nyo, kayo nyo ipapatreat. 'Di ba? Right? 'Di ba? Like I think there was this one Rotarian, he said, when I was talking about cervical screening, and he said, okay, na-screen mo yung pasyente. Ano ngayon? Titingnan natin. 'Di ba? Pagkatapos na-screen, o kung via positive, anong gagawin natin? And that is the reason why there is this Philippine Cancer Society and CerviQ partnership. Because one needs another. No? Kailangan namin sila for the treatment. Kailangan din naman nila kami for the other stuff. 'Di ba? So, there you go.
Okay, thank you for that, sir. So I think we need to move on. To so I think that's the end of it, right? So okay, so I was actually reading some comments here. Okay, from Miss
Hello?
to our
Wait lang.
technical team. Okay, to our technical team. Last question. Miss Jeline, Atasha, Isabel. You said a while ago that you can get vaccine until 26 years old. What if, for example, I'm 27 and still a virgin? Can I still get vaccine to be protected from HPV or cervical cancer?
Sorry, I'm just reading it now. What if, for example, I am 27 years of age and still a virgin? Can I still get vaccine and can be protected from HPV or vaccine? Well, okay. Here's the thing. The mere fact that you need to give vaccine between age 9 to 26 is because when you give it, yung antibody mo tumataas. Ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon ka ng soldiers para labanan yung HPV na darating sa susunod. Okay? If you're 27, maaari naman itong makatulong. No? Maaaring makatulong. Remember, Gardasil 9 can cover up to age 45. No? Maaring hindi ka na pwede sa Cervic, doon sa Gardasil. No? Maaring ang gagamitin mo yung Gardasil 9, which is it can encompass up to 45 years of age. Now, ang question doon kasi is how effective can that be? No? How effective? Example, meron akong gamot, binigyan kita ng soldiers. Can I say na itong soldier na ito, na antibody na to is forever? I don't think so. That can only be addressed by a study. That can only be addressed by yearly ina-update kung meron ka pang antibody o hindi. No? So, ang point dito is, my point is, basically, for Cervarix and Gardasil, they did not see a good effect na natataas yung antibody mo. Only with Gardasil 9. So, Gardasil 9, maybe, it's the best thing you can do. And yes, you need, wala ka pa naman sexual intercourse, so more or less, I am assuming, no, na although ang sexual intercourse is not a prerequisite, no? You can do anal, I mean, you could do oral and everything, and you can still get, this thing, no? These things, no? So ang point ko lang doon is yes you will benefit, no, from Gardasil 9, and yes you will benefit kasi wala ka pang exposure. So the more that you need this.
Okay. Thank you, sir, Dr. Boggs. Doctor, one follow-up question from Hazel, Ms. Hazel Reyes Yap again. So you mentioned about immunity. Does supplements can give a lasting benefit to prevent cervical cancer?
Right now, we don't. Ako personally, from just for my own, maybe other doctors know, no. Pero ako wala akong alam, no. Pero ang when you say immunity kasi towards cervical towards against HPV types na high risk, no. More or less, you need to measure it. Ganito. You need kasi proof no, na you need proof na pag binigyan kita ng injection, yung protection mo is over after 10 years, 20 years meron ka pa, no? Now, for us to understand, no, yung question niya, which is yung supplement ba magbe-benefit, magkakaroon ng additional benefit, no? So imagine, ito yung mga pasyente, okay? I-injectan after 10 years. Tapos, after 10 years, yung ibang tao bibigyan ng supplement, yung ibang tao hindi bibigyan ng supplement. And then you compare, no? So ganun namin ginagawa yan sa research, no? To answer that question, no? Pero ang short answer ko dyan is, I don't know of any supplement that can actually give you immunity. But if I'm going to do that, to answer that question in a research protocol, I would say, isang grupo ng mga tao bibigyan ko ng gamot at supplement, at isang tao bibigyan ko ng gamot lang. And then I will compare after 10 years. Siguro ganun ko gagawin. Pero I don't think, Hazel, no, that meron pang ganung study right now. Kasi ang study ngayon is, but that's a good, that's a good, that is, kung may scientific basis yung supplement na yan, you can actually do that in a study. Wala namang problema doon, no? Madali naman kumuha ng sample, no? E di, kumuha ka ng subsets of patients na nagbigyan ng injection, bigyan mo ng supplement. Supplyan mo ng supplement. Yung iba, injection, monitor mo lang, no? And then after 10 years, kunan mo sila ng antibodies nila, which is higher or whatever. Parang ganun. And then you can prove maybe that the supplement helped them, no? Pero at this point in time, we don't know. I don't know of any supplement that can actually, well, ako yun. Maybe other doctors have. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Once again, Dr. Jesus Randy Bogs Rivera, thank you for very insightful presentation. So, everyone, the post-pandemic world limits contact between doctors and patients, forcing the receiving of medical care to be more difficult. So, for both safety and efficiency, hospitals and clinics, doctors have to minimize or outright eliminate physical contact when it comes to non-COVID-19 related medical concerns. So, there's always a way to recover, everyone. So, thanks to Dr. Boggs. Thank you once again. And there you have it. So thank you once again for staying tuned to our presentation today. And for our next online event on August 15, please watch this.
Hello, I'm Mark. Hello, I'm Mark.
And I am Henry.
And we will be conducting a fundraising program
for the benefit of the cancer patients.
This will be in association with Relay for Life and the Philippine Cancer Society.
And we will be giving you more details, and rest assured that the proceeds of this will be for the cancer patients. And alam mo naman ng mga Pilipino, di ba, Utoy, na matutulungin, especially during crisis.
Yeah. The items are being produced, and very excited kami kasi napakaganda at pinag-isipan namin lahat ng mga ipapakita namin mga items sa inyo.
Opo, yung mga items po namin are customized, at talagang kahit po ito fundraising campaign, talagang may papagmalaki po namin yung mga items na we will be for auction, I think. Auction process,
yeah,
di ba?
Actually, it's a mixture of auction at saka pag item, meron kayong item na makukuha para sa inyo, at saka may mga items na maibibigay sa mga cancer patients.
O, yun po. So, antabayanan po ninyo, i-update po namin kayo sa lahat ng details. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and see you.
See you.
We are in the process of making the customized face mask for the cancer patients.
Magandang araw. I'm Rom Marcada from the Philippine Cancer Society. Let me invite you to join us in our Relay for Life 2020, all in virtual and online way. If you like to link with us to fight against cancer together, even when we are apart, you can be part of it on August 22. The Philippines Virtual Relay for Life. It will start at 3 p.m. See you!
To our viewers, thank you very much for watching. And once again, I am Rotarian Mark Mikyabas, proud member of the Rotary Club of Ramon Magsaysay, wishing you a good health. God bless. Thank you.